Well, I want to talk about taking a premarital class. If you're engaged, if you are seriously dating, if you are considering dating somebody and you think perhaps this is God's will for you, I would highly recommend taking a premarital class. In fact, my husband, who is a wedding officiant and a ordained minister, he will not marry you unless you take a premarital class first. So, why do you need to take a premarital class? Well, this is why. A premarital class is an opportunity for you and your fiance to really focus in on your relationship. If you are getting married in a month or 2 months and you decide to take a premarital class, that's not the right time to take a premarital class. We would highly recommend that you take a premarital class at least 90 days before your wedding date. Advantages? Number one, as I mentioned, you're going to have time to hopefully focus in on your relationship. You may need to cut back on some activities, cut back on long hours at work, and really take the time to focus in on your relationship and seek God's will for your life. My husband and I are premarital coaches and have been for the last 8 years. We serve in the premarital ministry at our church, Covenant Church in Carrollton, Texas. And we also have our own premarital ministry, Taylormade Life Resources. And this is what we tell couples. I especially, you have to know that you know that you know that God has called you together. You need a word from God to move forward. Oftentimes, couples get married because they think it's the next logical thing to do in their relationship, but you need to know that it's what the Father wants you to do. Remember that when you get married, it's one of the greatest steps of faith you will ever take. When you get married, it's one of the greatest decisions that will affect your destiny. As a single, God has called you together to fulfill kingdom purpose. And just know that the person that He's called you to be married to, He has a purpose and plan for your life, something that He wants the two of you guys to do together. Dale always tells couples, it doesn't matter if you are engaged. It doesn't matter if you're on the very day of your wedding. If you feel uncomfortable in your spirit, if you feel some red flags, don't do it. Do not proceed. Because once you say I do, you're getting into a different realm spiritually, legally, financially. You have to realize that when you get married and your marriage ends in divorce, that it's not about you. It's about the other person also. And you have children. If you also have children in your marriage, it's going to affect them. We know because we are the products of a divorced relationship between our parents. So we would highly recommend that you take a premarital class, a Bible-based premarital class. It's important that you get involved in a premarital ministry or premarital class that is Bible-based because you want somebody to tell you what thus saith the Lord. Not what you want to hear, but what the Word of God says. That is so, so very important. In our premarital classes, we're going to talk about why marriage. We're going to talk about great expectations. We're going to talk about finances. Because one of the greatest reasons for divorce is finances as well as communication. I can't tell you, we have coached over 100 couples. And the majority of the time, when there is some type of issue or disagreement, communication has been the underlying reason why. Taylormade Life Resources is a provider with the Together in Texas program in the state of Texas, which means that once you complete a premarital class, that you can present your premarital class completion certificate to the clerk of court when you go down to get your marriage license. There will not be a waiting period, and you will get $60 off in your marriage license fee. So, taking premarital class saves you money, but spiritually, it's going to save you a lifelong um, lesson of regrets, a lifelong of regrets if you make a mistake. In a premarital class, we talk about red flags, things you need to be aware of, things you may not have noticed before. And also in a premarital class, especially Bible-based and at our church in Taylormade Life, we're going to ask you to sign a premarital covenant saying that you agree to abstain from sexual purity. I'm sorry, that you agree to maintain sexual purity before you get married. So there are quite a few advantages to take a premarital class. But again, we believe that once you take a premarital class, after the class, you're going to know what you need to do. People come into a premarital class thinking, you know what? I found the one for me, which is great. But also, people come into a premarital class wondering, is this the girl for me? Is this the guy for me? And if you really take the time, if you commit to the sessions, commit to your homework, we have great faith and believe that once you complete a premarital class and our time together with you, you're going to know if it's God's will for you to proceed, if God is saying wait, slow down, or if God's saying no, don't do it. Whatever the decision is, whatever God is speaking you to do, remember that it takes courage to move forward if God's saying yes. It takes courage to slow down if God's saying yes, but hey, you need to work some things out. And it takes courage to say no. No, I realize that you're not part of God's plan for me. So we encourage you, if you're engaged, to take a premarital class. If you are seriously dating, to take a premarital class. Your goal in dating should be to find a lifelong partner. If you're dating and the person you're dating does not want to get married, you need to break it off. You don't want to proceed in a relationship. You want to get married and the other person doesn't want to get married. You want to be sure that you're on the same page. So, seriously dating, if you're courting, or if you're engaged, we would highly recommend that you take a premarital class. If you would like more information about our premarital class, you can go to www.Taylormade Life Resources, or you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com Taylormade Life Resources. God bless you. Have a great evening.